Welcome to Policing TV, where I'm delighted here to be joined by Kate Aldgate, who is the Strategic Director of Vis-a-Vis, which itself runs Neighbourhood Alert here in the United Kingdom. Kate, thank you so much for welcoming Policing TV to your summit. Monday and Tuesday of this week, it's the calm before the storm here, isn't it? Everything's set up.
Absolutely. So we were here last night, everything's set up, ready for the 80 delegates to come. They've literally come from Scotland, they're coming from Wales and England, and all the way from Devon and Cornwall. It really is about a community coming together, really, in terms of looking at public engagement and how effective that works in terms of how police can engage with the public, understand their needs, but also then what to do with that information too.
Tell us a little bit about Neighbourhood Alert, for those particularly from outside the UK who may not understand the system that you operate for those UK forces.
So for those people who understand Robert Peel principles, it's all about public is police and police are the public. And in a sense, it's a piece of software which enables the police to understand and communicate with the public directly. It's broadcast to one-to-many, but the response back from the public is one-to-one. So it's about private, secure and timely two-way communication.
We'll learn more about that during the course of these 2 days, which Policing TV will be covering. Just before we get people arriving, take us through the layout here, what it is that you and your team have been setting up last night and what delegates are to look forward to over the next couple of days.
Absolutely. So the team are all coming today. Lots going on as well, so it's a chance to meet, because since COVID everyone's been remote, so it's really great to come face to face as well. So we've got delegate packs here, which includes a product brochure, because what we have got is a bespoke system. So it's really about being clear about who's got what and understanding what can happen on that system in terms of what they can use as well. So it's about learning, but it's also about sharing as well. So everyone in the room has got experience in terms of how they utilise the platform, Neighbourhood Alert, and it's really about how sharing that best practice, like making sure that the police get the most out of the community engagement tool too.
We're going to have sessions throughout today, Monday, and then on Tuesday morning, and we'll feature more of that in a moment or two.
Yeah.
But you were telling me a little earlier that one of your key colleagues is a very accomplished magician.
Absolutely, yeah. So Mike Douglas set up the company how many moons ago, in a sense, with our IT director John Shaw. So Mike is the product director. He's the innovator. He's the genius behind all of these ideas which go on, and actually is really good at magic. So he's got some colleagues as well coming along, and the evening will be music and magic. So we normally enjoy ourselves in the evening. It's a case of just relaxing and getting to know each other as well, and with a bit of fun.
We're really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to covering today and tomorrow for Policing TV. For the time being, Kate, thank you very much indeed.
So we're literally warming up, the team's here, and we're waiting for the delegates to arrive.
I'm Caroline Henry. I'm the former Police and Crime Commissioner for Nottinghamshire. But Nottinghamshire's in my blood, as is police and as is community. So I couldn't resist the opportunity to join the Neighbourhood Alert Summit, which is happening here in Nottinghamshire today. Lots of people are here. Everyone wants to know about the innovative technology to keep communities safe. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what they've got to say.
Hi, I'm Mark Lovell, Homicide Police, Chief Inspector with the Community Safety Unit, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here today at the Neighbourhood Alert Summit. Now, Neighbourhood Alert is part of our branding in Homicide is My Community Alert, which we can see here. And Neighbourhood Alert is our two-way messaging system, and it is absolutely key to how our neighbourhood teams engage with communities in homicide. It's our way of getting out there, listening, understanding, and then acting on what we've learned from the community, what their priorities are, and then feeding back to them what we've been doing about it. And it's absolutely key to how we engage with our communities. Our neighbourhood teams, for quite some time now, been knocking on every single door in the homicide area, asking what people's priorities are, looking at that data, understanding what issues are important to the community, using that to make a difference in the community and update people what we've been doing about it.
This afternoon we're with ACC Michelle Shooter from Derbyshire Constabulary. Michelle's just given a presentation regarding her experience not only with Derbyshire Police but also as NPCC lead as well. Michelle, there's lots been going on in terms of the change in government. We believe there's going to be a speech tomorrow. In terms of what you would like to have one wish list for, in terms of what you'd like the Home Secretary to be saying tomorrow, is there something which you pertinently would like her to say?
I think first and foremost, you say it's been busy. It's been really, really busy. Very exciting times for neighbourhood policing and policing in general. I think, you know, more details around what the neighbourhood policing guarantee entails would be really useful for senior policing leaders and obviously my portfolio to work through together so we can get some good outcomes for local communities. So a bit more detail around the operational aspects of the neighbourhood policing guarantee and probably some clarity just around the 13,000 officer uplift.
Absolutely. So in terms of that 30,000 uplift, what would you like to see in that? So just trying to get an idea about what's good look like. So if you hear that, when you hear that speech tomorrow, you go, actually, yes, that's great. That's been really useful. I'm pleased she's mentioned that.
I think the meetings that we've been present in and the Home Office have been really, really engaged, and it's been a collaborative approach. However, what as a senior policing leader I've been trying to really echo is we need to ensure that locally chief constables and PCCs have utmost flexibility in the workforce mix of those neighbourhood policing teams, because we know different roles have different levels of productivity and outcomes for communities, and I think giving that flexibility is critical, and that I'd really welcome that.
Absolutely. So you've been working with the College of Policing as well regarding the neighbourhood policing programme, pilot programme, and obviously Derbyshire is one of those pilot forces. So how do you think that's gone so far in terms of the pilot?
So the early feedback, I think there's been some challenges in terms of delivery. So there has been meetings just to tweak that where necessary to make it an offering of both face-to-face but also on the online space. But the early feedback we're getting from officers, it's a long time. It's been a long time coming. It's long overdue. And a lot of them who are probably seasoned war horses in their local neighbourhoods, they're all taking something from it. So we've only done 3 modules in the pilot. There will be other modules coming when it's rolled out across the country, but the early feedback is really, really positive.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely long time needed. In terms of learnings from the pilot, from your perspective as well, so working with the college, is there anything specific that you would like to see in terms of when it goes out to national rollout in terms of that programme?
I think in terms of the college, what it does bring you is a great wealth of knowledge. It brings all the evidence base into the curriculum. And I think what I'd like to see more of is that being regularly refreshed, updated, that this isn't just a one-year programme, this is a programme that's going to be sustainable year on year as new officers come into the neighbourhood teams, but also to keep that CPD ongoing. So I think it's just around enabling forces to be flexible in terms of the delivery. And I guess some of the discussions I've had with the college is, while we still work out with Home Office colleagues how we're going to deliver it, because it is a significant investment in neighbourhood policing. It's whether the college deliver that product or whether forces deliver that product locally. And I think that's still a question of debate, and obviously ongoing conversations around how best can we deliver that model across the UK.
Absolutely. So there's conversations as well around a national performance framework. Is there anything you can share with us regarding that? And obviously, no, it's not been confirmed yet, but is there any indication in terms of what that could potentially look like?
So we have with other colleagues, with HMIC, FRS, College of Policing, other stakeholders, we have done a very, very early draft using the evidence base, using the previous performance framework that was approved by Chief Constables and signed off in 2023. We've used the new one to try and map against the separate pillars of the neighbourhood guarantee from what we know at this time. So obviously it will change. That has gone. That will need to go through our performance committee that Chief Constable Scott Chilton chairs. But it has been a joined up approach, but there's a long way still to go in terms of consultation with other stakeholders before we finally approve a new performance framework to address the guarantee.
Great. So, in terms of Derbyshire, you invited us in to do an internal review a couple of months ago. We came in and you asked us to, in a sense, speak to a range of officers as well as staff as well, to really get an insight about how they utilise the platform, what was working and what wasn't. In terms of that, what did you take from that process?
I think what I took from it was never assume something. You know, bring in external people into your organisation, and opening yourself up for some fresh ideas. It has really assisted us. We've now got a development plan in place in terms of how we improve it from a technological side, but also it's enabled me to almost reinforce our local minimum standards around engagement. So it's been really beneficial for me. You know, I've been able to policing lead for a year. We've had the system quite a while, and I don't think we've ever had a really good look at a refresh. So, you know, I would say for me, that peer review, peer support has been absolutely valuable.
Brilliant. So what we've got this afternoon, we're literally going to go in a few minutes' time. We've got Mike Douglas, our product director, who's going to be launching the national survey results. I literally seen them last night. I've had a glance at where you are, Michelle, in terms of Derbyshire, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that compares to other forces. The majority have really increased, so hopefully we can have that continued conversation about how we look at it both from a national portfolio as well as local, to take some really tangible steps in terms of what we can do going forward.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thanks, Michelle.
No,
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Clare.
Hi.
Hampshire. Let's talk. What would you say? I think people looking at this would be thinking, do we need to second an officer to get this thing going again? Because Hampshire's 10 years in, plateaued, I think fair to say.
Completely.
Yeah. How important would you say it would be to second someone to be on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the key to success, really, you know, and it's really difficult for everybody at the moment to temporarily second out of the business, take someone away from their day job. But if you want this to succeed, especially across a whole force area, you need someone dedicated that's going to drive it, to be looking at the figures every day, to be looking at those districts that are early adopters, that pick it up and really run with it, and then go and offer help to those that are maybe stumbling and falling a bit behind. So, you know, I think it's important from that angle. The other thing, we've had a dedicated officer, as you know, is that he's quite innovative and has come up with ideas that might have challenged you back, you know, to say, can we incorporate that into our system? So, you know, I'd ask the question back in reverse in a way, as to what have you learned from working with Hampshire?
Yeah. Oh, the levels of challenge, the levels of reporting that are needed, you know, so he's armed with reports that, you know, we'll talk about the importance of performance management, but getting those numbers in whole other areas that armed Tony with, you know, filling those reports in.
Yeah, so performance management is, you've hit on that, and for us it's so important. You know, the three key elements of neighbourhood policing for me are problem solving, targeted patrol activity and engagement, and of course using the Let's Talk system allows you to achieve at least two of those, because you're targeting your patrol activity where you know your communities need you to be, because you've asked them and they've told you the problem is antisocial behaviour here, so we direct our patrols in that area, and of course it's absolutely critical to engagement. So those are the three areas of the neighbourhood policing guidelines from the College of Policing and the NPCC that we all work towards nationally, and we know there's a new performance framework coming over the hill, and I think you know, for me it puts us in a really strong position to be able to demonstrate not only sign-ups and who we've spoken to, but how we're actually completing that two-way engagement back into communities. The "you said we did" bit is absolutely vital.
Fabulous. And what challenges did you face? Did you get any kickback from any particular neighbourhoods? You know, the kind of reluctance to adopt a new approach, because you're asking frontline officers to go and knock on doors and have conversations and change what they do day to day. You know, what challenges did you face in Hampshire, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so we did, and actually it lifted the lid on things like what is the core role of a PCSO, which again nationally PCSOs get used a lot to kind of support their neighbourhood officers. They take part in bits of investigations, and to me this was about bringing them right back to their core role, which is being out on patrol, talking to people, knocking on doors and starting that conversation. So it enabled us to have a bit of a reset. There are some PCSOs that immediately just really bought into it and thought this is absolutely what they've been crying out for, to give them that opportunity to really build on their community mapping and what they know about their area, and others that have needed that additional level of support, to get them on board with it and to get them feeling confident about what they're doing. But I think it's the start of the conversation, isn't it? So, and for us, it's been, a really busy 12 months and one that we really look forward to building on.
Yeah, 25,000 surveys done in 9 months.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And when you look at some of the data that we've used previously around survey completions and what we think we've been really pleased with, even in COVID, where people were really happy to complete surveys around public trust and confidence, we didn't see survey completion rates like that. So it's really, really good.
Other things you've put in place to act on that information, if the public are completing that survey, how confident can they be that would, speeding came out quite a lot of areas. How much does that go to actually influence policing decisions?
Well, so interestingly, because speeding came out on top of many of our districts, our road policing commander is now fully linked in with our kind of performance metrics, what we look at, and in all those areas where the public has said speeding is a concern, it enables them not necessarily to go and conduct hundreds of speeding patrols, because they are primarily there to deal with road death and road safety, but in those areas where they know that actually there is a requirement to do that as well, they can really target their work, and they can do the two-way feedback and say, roads policing were in your area today, their cars look different to the neighbourhood cars, and we can take photos of those and really show the community that we've been there. So yeah, it's about expanding it out to the rest of the organisation.
So your message to maybe members now of Hampshire Alert, how confidently can you suggest to them that they take the survey regularly, and will that genuinely feed in?
Yeah, and we can demonstrate what our district priorities are based on what the community are telling us, and not just that. It's about how we talk to our partners about some of the concerns as well, because they're not all policing issues that people raise with us, and that's fine. So we work really closely with our community safety managers, and we can share that information into local authorities and other departments. So the other thing that it shows the public is that as public services, we're all joined up in our approach.
Yes, it's very reassuring. Lovely.
My name's Chris Davis. I'm the Managing Director of Vis-a-Vis. So we are the business behind the Neighbourhood Alert community messaging engagement platform. Just wanted to say how delighted I am at the success of our summit this year here in Nottingham. It's amazing to see so many of the people that we talk to on a daily basis attending the event from lots of different police forces and other organisations around the UK. I think we've all lived our life on Teams post-COVID, and it's great, even if it's once a year, just to get together in a face-to-face environment. It gives us a chance to network and entertain and chat with our customers, and it also gives them the opportunity to network between themselves and share some best practice ideas about how they use the system. We've even got 4 forces attending this event who don't currently use the alert platform. They're here on a fact-finding mission. I've been asking lots of questions of all the other forces that are here in the hope that they will in the future procure the system. So we're extremely pleased at how successful the event's been, and looking forward already to next year.